In the early morning quiet of America's parking lots, rest stops, and forgotten industrial streets, a new kind of neighborhood is forming. Engines idle like white noise machines. Solar panels unfold like fragile wings. Children wake up not to a bedroom door, but to a sliding RV window fogged with their breath. What began as a temporary fix for a few has quietly grown into one of the largest migrations in modern American history. This is the story of the latest credit crisis, the families who fell through its cracks, and the wheels they now call home. Across the country, credit has tightened to a chokehold. Interest rates climbed to levels the middle class could no longer manage. Credit cards hit their limits. Car payments doubled. Mortgages became fantasies. Even people who once prided themselves on perfect credit suddenly found themselves denied for loans they once qualified for with ease. Banks, spooked by rising default rates and falling consumer confidence, began shutting their doors, not literally but figuratively, through stricter lending standards and microscopic approval odds. For countless Americans, it felt like the floor dropped out from under them. Prices rose relentlessly. Groceries that once filled a cart for $120 now cost $240. A gallon of milk climbed past $6. Bread, eggs, meat, everything became luxuries instead of staples. Parents began making choices no parent should have to make: antibiotics or groceries, rent or gas, electricity or diapers. The inflation crisis did not just tighten belts. It forced families to pull them so tight they struggled to breathe. The job market offered no relief. AI automation, long predicted to reshape the world, arrived with a quiet and devastating speed. Customer service positions vanished. Copywriters, analysts, assistants, and office workers, roles that once offered stability, were consolidated or erased. In warehouses, machines replaced forklifts and human pickers. In call centers, chatbots answered questions with flawless efficiency. A new reality became painfully clear. Companies did not need as many people anymore. Millions suddenly found themselves competing for fewer and fewer jobs, while job listings demanded years of experience, technical skills, or degrees most could not afford to pursue. With incomes shrinking and expenses exploding, one of the last financial lifelines people clung to was credit. But when banks retracted that lifeline, the fall was immediate. Evictions became normal. Foreclosures surged. Even renting became nearly impossible, as landlords required perfect credit and incomes 3 times the rental price. Some families burned through their savings, and others borrowed from relatives until those wells ran dry. And when every option was exhausted, one painful truth remained: traditional housing was no longer within reach. That's when the movement began. What some call a crisis, others call survival. America's new RV population is not made up of retirees or weekend travelers. These are working families, single parents, laid-off professionals, veterans, students, and the elderly. They're teachers, truck drivers, line cooks, Uber drivers, nurses on night shifts, people who once lived in apartments and houses. Now they navigate life in parking lots behind Walmarts, abandoned gas stations, and overcrowded RV parks, doubling as emergency housing. The rise of recreational vehicle living is not driven by adventure, but necessity. For many, buying a used recreational vehicle for a few $1,000s is cheaper than paying first month's rent, last month's rent, a security deposit, and application fees. For others, converting a van or school bus is the only path to shelter they can afford. Families cram into 20-foot trailers or aging motorhomes parked on the edges of towns, hoping no one knocks on the door at 2 in the morning to tell them to move. Inside these rolling homes, life is a mix of improvisation and resilience. Parents cook on tiny propane stoves. Water is rationed like gold. Showers happen at gyms, truck stops, or not at all. Children learn to sleep through the sounds of generators and passing trucks. Some families place aluminum foil in the windows to block the heat, while others run small fans off portable batteries, praying they hold until morning. When winter hits, space heaters and extra blankets keep the cold at bay, but not always. Recreational vehicles were never designed for year-round living, yet year-round living is now a forced reality. But perhaps the most heartbreaking part of this crisis is the quiet shame that follows families wherever they go. Parents who once held stable jobs and good incomes now hide that they live in a vehicle. Children do not invite friends because there is no over to go to. Couples argue about gas money. Single mothers break down when the engine light flickers on. Even something as simple as having an address becomes a barrier. Many schools, employers, and banks require an address, and that requirement leaves families living in recreational vehicles borrowing addresses from friends, or risking the loss of basic services. Still, within the struggle, something else emerges: ingenuity. People adapt, and in America's recreational vehicle crisis, ingenuity has become survival. Some families plant container gardens outside their recreational vehicles, growing tomatoes and herbs beside their tires. Others build makeshift solar setups to power their lights and charge phones. Resourceful parents batch cook meals at parks with public outlets. Communities form naturally, with families sharing tools, food, and tips on safe places to park. A mom who once worked in IT now repairs solar panels for fellow RV residents. A former mechanic teaches neighbors how to fix their rigs. A landscaper trims bushes for local businesses in exchange for water refills. Food challenges have brought creativity as well. Many families stretch every dollar by cooking large batches of rice, potatoes, and beans. Churches, community centers, and food pantries become lifelines. Children learn to fish at local lakes, bringing home dinner when they can. For some, foraging for edible plants becomes a weekly routine. Others hunt small game or gather leftovers from grocery stores closing for the night. It is not glamorous, but it keeps families fed. Technology, once part of the problem, has also become part of the solution. Families use Wi-Fi from libraries and cafes to apply for jobs, to homeschool their children, or to earn money online. Some take remote gig jobs as customer service contractors, transcriptionists, or virtual assistants. Others create YouTube channels documenting their RV journeys, not out of passion, but in hope that the ad revenue will help them climb back onto stable ground. Digital nomadism, long a lifestyle trend, has now blended with forced minimalism, creating an unexpected new class of American workers who live on wheels. But survival does not erase the deeper pain. Every RV family knows they are one breakdown away from complete disaster. If the engine blows, if a tire bursts, if a transmission fails, the home becomes useless. Repairs cost thousands, money they do not have. For many, mechanical failure means homelessness in the most literal sense. Everything they own sitting in a broken vehicle that cannot move, vulnerable to towing or theft. The fear is constant, like a shadow that follows them down every highway. Communities across the country are beginning to notice. Cities complain about RVs lining suburban streets, parked under overpasses, filling lots near industrial parks. Some towns embrace these residents with kindness, offering safe parking zones, showers, and charging stations. Others push them away through bans, heavy fines, and towing operations designed to clear out the eyesores. The conflict highlights a painful truth. America has not yet decided how to respond to this new wave of displaced citizens. Economists warn that the credit crisis is still unfolding. With inflation lingering, job competition rising, and AI innovations accelerating, more families may soon face the same impossible choices. The cost of living continues to rise faster than wages. Rent prices show no sign of dropping, and the gap between the wealthy and the working class grows wider with each passing month. If nothing changes, RV living could become not just a trend, but a defining feature of American life. Yet even in the bleakness, hope persists. Families living in RVs speak of unexpected freedom, the ability to travel for seasonal work, to join supportive communities, to live more simply, to escape the crushing cycle of rent. Many say their relationships grew stronger because they learned to rely on each other instead of systems that failed them. They learned resourcefulness, gratitude, and the ability to create joy even in tight spaces. They discovered that home is not always measured in square footage, but in the love shared inside those walls, even if those walls are aluminum and fiberglass. The RV crisis is not just about housing. It is about identity. It is about what happens when society changes faster than people can adjust. It is about a technological revolution that eliminated jobs faster than it created them. It is about a financial system that expects perfection from imperfect people. It is about families doing everything they can to survive a world that is becoming more uncertain every day. But it is also about resilience, about grit, about the unbreakable instinct parents have to protect their children. Families are finding ways to cook, clean, learn, work, and dream inside the cramped walls of RVs. They are forging new communities and rewriting what it means to live in America during a crisis. In that sense, this movement is not just a story of survival, but of transformation. As dawn rises across America, the engines warm again. Children rub the sleep from their eyes as sunlight spills through RV blinds. Families check their gas tanks, their food supply, their route for the day. Some will drive toward hope. Others will stay parked, fighting another day to make ends meet. But all of them share a quiet determination, a belief that tomorrow can be better than today, that crises do not last forever, and that even in the hardest times, the human spirit can rise above the wreckage. The credit crisis has reshaped the American landscape in ways few predicted. It has tested families, reshaped communities, and forced the nation to confront uncomfortable truths. But it has also revealed something powerful. Resilience is still one of America's greatest strengths, and as long as families continue to adapt, innovate, and lift each other up, there remains a path forward, on wheels, on faith, and on the belief that every crisis eventually gives way to renewal. This is America on Wheels, an unfolding story of hardship, ingenuity, and the relentless hope of families determined to survive.